Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Rome ahead of the G20 summit. Prime Minister Modi will join other G20 leaders in discussions on global economic and health recovery from COVID-19, sustainable development and climate change. WION is tracking all of the live updates from the summit in Rome. And WION Student Civil spoke to Piyush Goyal, who is India's G20 Sherpa, speaking about climate change and the pandemic. Listen in.
With me is India's Sherpa for the G20 summit, the 16th G20 summit that will happen on Saturday and Sunday. So welcome to WION. My first question to you is, when it comes to COVID crisis and of course vaccination, what will be India's key agenda at the meeting?
Well, India has demonstrated to the world tremendous capabilities, both in the development of vaccines and in the rapid rollout of our vaccination program. As you are aware, we've crossed 1 billion doses of vaccines administered to a very large section of our population. The speed at which we are vaccinating, almost all willing adults in the country are close to being vaccinated. And over the next 2 or 2.5 months, all those who fall due for the second dose will also be vaccinated. In fact, we are, as the Honorable Health Minister in India mentioned, we are running a door-to-door campaign to encourage people who are left out to come and take vaccines. We have sufficient stocks. We have a walk-in program for vaccination now. And we will also be supporting several other countries, less developed countries, the developing countries, with affordable vaccines in sufficient measure.
So on the issue of climate change, we know that this summit comes just before the Glasgow meeting, but at the G20 meeting, climate change and what India is expected to highlight?
Well, India has been at the forefront of the climate change agenda. While we are not in the first place responsible for the problem, and despite supporting nearly 17% of the world's population, our contribution to global gas emissions is just about under 3%. Yet, as a responsible global citizen, we are participating very actively in the world's efforts to resolve the future problems that climate change can bring. We are working collectively with other nations. We are trying to protect the interests of the low and middle income countries so that adequate finance and appropriate technologies at affordable price are made available to them in their future development work. We are ensuring that adequate policy space is available for the developing countries to bring prosperity to their people. And in some sense, India speaks and is the voice of billions of people who have been left behind in this race for prosperity. We are very confident that the G20 will be a powerful voice in addressing concerns around climate change. India will play a pivotal role both at the G20 and in COP26. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership on this subject is very well recognized all across the world.
So my last question to you is terrorism and black money, two issues India has been talking about since 2014 when the Prime Minister visited Brisbane for his first G20 summit. How India is going to make sure that the focus continues, the pressure continues on making sure that there are reforms when it comes to black money and there is action when it comes to terrorism?
Well, if you will see, the very fact that the world has moved towards accepting a minimum global corporate tax itself is reflective of the support that Prime Minister Modi's idea got. Because ultimately when people were finding safe haven and avoiding paying taxes in any jurisdiction through various tax mechanisms, that itself was also a form of encouraging money transfers and flows without accountability. So I think we've come a long way. Prime Minister Modi continues to persevere and bring global attention to this very important subject. And the good part is the world is listening.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for speaking to WION. So there you have it, India's Sherpa speaking to WION on several issues that will be the focus areas. With video journalist Ajit Siddhan for WION in Rome, Italy.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.